Good morning, student. We had completed our first chapter, that is crop production. Now today we will start our next chapter, that is microorganism. Now what does it mean? Microorganism. Micro means very small. Organism means living being. Very small means that are so small which can't be seen through the naked eyes. There are many living organisms. There are a number of living organisms around us, like plants, animals, which we can see through our eyes. But apart from them, there are many other living organisms which we can't see through our naked eye, and they are living inside our body also. They are known as microorganism. Now this microorganism word was first used by a scientist known as Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So this microorganism term was first used by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He has first seen this microorganism. Now this microorganism comes under a branch of science that is called microbiology. Study of microorganism. Study of microorganism is known as microbiology. And one more term, that is microbiologist. Microbiologist. So the scientists who study these microorganisms, they are known as microbiologists. Scientist who Now the next question is, where are these microorganisms found? Or what are the habitat of these microorganisms? So these microorganisms are found everywhere. Everywhere means almost from the polar ice caps to the hot spring and the desert to the Marside land. Means everywhere, in air, in soil, in land, inside our body, everywhere these microorganisms are found. And they can survive in all conditions. They can survive in all type of environment. So these microorganisms are present everywhere. Now mostly these microorganisms are hardy. Hardy means they have a cyst around their body, and that's why they can survive in all the conditions, in any type of climatic conditions. Means they are present in the cracks in the sea floor or in the volcanic volcanic eruptions, they can also survive, and in the Maasai land, even inside our body. Now these microorganisms are why these microorganisms are hardy? Because their bodies are covered by a cyst. That is a hard structure, and they can survive in any climatic conditions. Whenever a favorable condition occurs, they just start growing on that place. So they are present in everywhere. Everywhere means inside our body, inside our nose, inside our on the skin, inside our stomach, everywhere they are present. Now the types. So everywhere. Polarized caps. To desert and Mars Island. And these microorganisms may be found living singularly or maybe lived in colonies. Now, types of microorganism. So there are major 5 types of microorganism. First is your bacteria. Second is viruses. Third is protozoa. Fourth is fungi. And fifth is algae. So there are 5 major types of microorganisms: bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi and algae. Now we have to see one by one all the characteristics of all these 5 microorganisms. So first of all we will see bacteria. Now bacteria, where are they found? So bacteria, these are the among the simplest living these microorganisms. These among the 5 microorganisms, bacteria are the simplest and very small living things. They are unicellular or single-celled, and they are found everywhere, means soil, water, air, plants and even in the human beings. So first point is habitat. Unicellular, simplest living things. Air, water, land, inside body. So they are found everywhere. Now what is the size of these microorganisms, bacteria? So the size may vary from 0.15 micrometer to 1.5 micrometer. Micron. 1 micron is equal to 1 by 10 ka power 1 into 10 ka power minus 6 meter. So you can imagine how small they are. Now shape. And 1 tablespoon of garden soil can contain 2 millions of bacteria. You can imagine 2 millions of bacteria and many 100 meter of fungal fungi are also present in 1 tablespoon of garden soil. Now, types. Shape. They may be of different shape. First is your spherical shape. Spherical. Another name of spherical shape is your corky. Then your rod shape. Rod shape, that is bacillus. Then spiral. Spiral shaped, spirillum. And one more, comma shaped. Comma shaped, that is vibrio. So these are the shapes of bacteria. Maybe they can be found in any type of shape like spherical, rod shaped, spiral shaped, comma shaped. Now structure, we know that they are unicellular organism having a prokaryotic structure, means primitive structure. Their nucleus are not well defined. Now how they move? They move with the help of flagella. So movement is through flagella. And what are their nutrition? They may be saprophytic or parasitic. They have a saprophytic or parasitic mode of nutrition. How they reproduce? They reproduced by the process of binary fission, means one bacteria divided into 2 bacteria. And they exist either in singly or in the group. So this is all about bacteria. Later we will see the beneficial use of bacteria, means the good bacteria, bad bacteria, both the beneficial and they are harmful bacteria. Now next is your viruses. Now these viruses are smaller than any known cell, means they are smallest, and they are so small that they can't be seen through the light microscope. So for seeing them, the scientists have to use the electron microscope, whose magnifies an object to more than 2 lakh times. And these viruses, they don't have the cellular structure like other organisms. Now these viruses, where are they found? Again, they are found everywhere. So as bacteria, these viruses are found everywhere. Now What are their structure? Their structure, their viral body consists of a nuclear core having a DNA or RNA surrounded by a protein known as capsids. We will see later these things. So what is DNA? What is RNA? Now these viruses, they can't reproduce by themselves, respond to change or use energy or grow. Means कि these viruses are not living things, living organism. When they enter the living host, only then they are able to reproduce. Means outside the host body, outside the any living organism, they are dead, like dead. Whenever, as soon as they enter inside a human cell, it starts reproducing. Nowadays, due to these viruses, COVID-19, this coronavirus, we are staying at home. So as their replication power is too much, so it uses the energy of the host cell from this for reproducing. They uses the energy of the host cell, and after the formation of the thousands of viruses, the host cell, they die, and then they burst and the new viruses spread and invade the other cells. So a large number of host cell die and the person may fall ill. Now, since reproduction is very important characteristic of life, scientists regard viruses as a link between living and non-living. So they have been placed on the dividing line between the living and the non-living. Means they are not completely living, not completely non-living. So they are the connecting link. They are in between, borderline between the living things and the non-living things. Now next is your protozoa. Protozoa, they are unicellular organisms that have animal-like characteristic, and they can move from one place to another. They can capture and eat food. Some protozoa, they live in the fresh water, and some live in soil. Some are parasitic that live in the body of other organisms, including human being, like amoeba, giardia, paramecium. These are the example of protozoa. Viruses we have completed. Protozoa. Now these protozoa are the simplest, as we have read in class 7, amoeba and paramecium. These are protozoa we can see in the small ponds or ditches, tanks, and their size vary from 2 to 200 microns. They have heterotrophic mode of nutrition, except Euglena, which is autotrophic in nature. They may be parasitic protozoa, they may be parasitic, saprophytic or symbiotic in nature. And their shapes also vary. Like amoeba, they are irregular in shape. Paramecium, they have slipper-like shape. And Euglena, they have spindle-shaped. Now next is your fungi. These fungi, they are plant-like organisms and having a cell wall but lacking chlorophyll, and they can't synthesize their food. They are found in dark, moist places with moderate temperature. such as moist bread, leather goods, vegetable, rotting fruits and vegetables, and animal excreta. Again, these fungi may be unicellular or multicellular. They consist of a cell wall made up of chitin or fungal cellulose. They may be single living or lived in colonies. Now this multicellular fungi, they consist of a thread-like structure known as hypha. These hypha are the interwoven together to make a network known as mycelium. So these are the internal structure of fungi. Molds, yeast, mushroom, these are the common form of fungi. Mushroom, it is a multicellular consisting of a stalk and an umbrella, where yeast is unicellular. Again, nutrition, they are heterotrophic and can be parasitic or saprophytic. Fungi reproduced by budding or by spore formation. Now next is your algae. Now algae, these are simple plant-like organism having cell wall and chlorophyll. Algae, they are autotrophs. They have chlorophyll so that they can make food with the help of photosynthesis. But they have no root, stem or leaves. And these are found in water like pond, lake or seawater. Some algae are also found in snow and some in hot spring. They grow in moist soil, barks of trees and rock surfaces. Again, they may be unicellular or multicellular. So their size may be vary from 1 micron to several meters. Now these algae, based on the type of pigment present, algae may be of different types, like green algae. Based on pigment. First is your green algae. Example is pyro, that you have read in class 7. Next is your blue-green algae. Example is Anabena. Then brown algae. These are types. Example is fucus. Then red algae. Example is Polysiphonia. And the last is golden brown algae, that are diatoms. So these are types of algae based on the pigment present in them. Green pigment is present, then Spirogyra. Blue-green pigment is present, then Anabena. Example, brown algae, that is your fucus. Red algae, Polysiphonia. Golden brown algae, that is diatoms. Now, algae reproduced either by fragmentation or binary fission or by sexual means. So we had seen all the 5 types of microorganism. Now we have to see The good part and the bad part means the beneficial microorganism and the harmful part of these microorganism. Now, means useful microorganism. So these microorganisms are useful in many ways, like these are useful in the food and beverage industries, making medicine and vaccines, in agriculture, and in cleaning the environment. Now, how they are helping in food and beverage industries? So food and beverage industries means making which microorganisms are helpful in making food. So bacteria, these bacteria are very beneficial to us in our day-to-day life. Now how they are useful? The curd, which is very common that we are using every day in our food, that curd is made from a bacteria known as lactobacillus. Lacto means milk. Bacillus, it's a type. So lactobacillus, which promotes the formation of curd. So lactobacillus is a bacterium that store milk and is used to make curd from milk. Now cheese is also made by the action of bacteria on milk. Vinegar, that is also produced by the action of bacteria. And bacteria are also used in the production of all the beverage like coffee, tea and cocoa. Now making curd and cheese, how they make bacteria is used in the preparation of curd. So this bacteria is used in the preparation of some of our most common food like curd, that contain a bacteria called lactobacillus. How we make curd? You have seen your mummies how they at night how they set up the curd. They just add a starter, little bit curd, that is called starter, in the lukewarm milk, and then that lactobacillus multiplies and convert the whole milk to curd. Curd, in Hindi we say dahi, it, and in plain yogurt in many countries. It is available in many flavors also, like chocolate, fruits. Now cheese, production of cheese also start by curdling of milk using lactobacillus bacteria. Different bacteria are then added depending on the type of cheese being made. Now bread that we eat. Bread is made by yeast fungi. Yeast play an important role in preparation of food. Now this yeast, when we make a dough of any maida or atta, and if we will left it for half an hour or for the whole night, what we will see? We will see that dough has risen. How they are risen? They are risen because of the presence of yeast. That yeast uses sugar for food. In the process of breaking down of sugar, alcohol is formed and carbon dioxide is given off, and this process is known as fermentation. The bubbles of carbon dioxide give off causes the dough to rise. So how the dough rise? The fermentation process means the sugar present in that dough, that is broken down into carbon dioxide and alcohol, and that carbon dioxide give the dough to rise, and that dough is used to make for bread. And when this dough is baked, more bubbles of gases are formed due to heat. And as the gas escapes, the bread rises and becomes soft and fluffy. The heat during the baking process also evaporates the alcohol. Now, all the South Indian foods like idli, dosa, then your dhokla, these are also takes place due to the fermentation process. Like idli and dosa are prepared from the mixture of dal and rice, which has been ground to a fine paste. These mixtures is allowed to stand for the few hours, and naturally fermentation process occurs naturally due to the bacteria present in the mixture, and the mixture rises and becomes sour. Dhokla, that is a popular food item in the Gujarat, requires yeast to be added to this mixture. Means fermentation process does not occur naturally for making dhokla. Now all the alcohol and alcoholic drinks, they are also made by the fermentation of sugar by yeast. Alcohol is produced. The process of fermentation of sugar by yeast is useful in the manufacture of alcohol and alcoholic drinks such as beer and wine. Now, what is the difference between beer and wine? One major difference that wine is prepared by the fermentation of sugar in grapes, whereas beer by the fermentation of germinated barley. So we have seen how these microorganisms are useful in food and beverage industries. Now next how these microorganisms are useful in making medicines and vaccines. So again, bacteria and fungi, they are used to make medicines called antibiotics. These medicines, so what is the function of antibiotics? To kill or to stop the growth of disease causing microorganism, and hence they are used to cure diseases. Penicillin comes from a species of molds called Penicillium. So many antibiotics like streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin, these are some common antibiotics made from bacteria or fungi. Antibiotics are also used to control some disease of animals and plants. Now next, microorganisms are also used to make vaccines which protect humans and other animals from several diseases like cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, hepatitis, chickenpox, measles, polio, smallpox, that can be prevented by vaccination. Now, how these vaccines are made? These vaccines consist of dead or weakened microbes, and when these are swallowed or injected into the body of a patient, the body produces antibodies to fight them, and the antibodies remain in the body and protect it from further attack of the disease germs. The body is then said to have developed immunity against the disease, and the vaccination is therefore also known as immunization. Nowadays we are seeing that this coronavirus, how this can be controlled. We have read in the newspaper or we have seen in the TV that plasma therapy. Through the plasma therapy, this coronavirus are cured. Same this vaccination process. When any microbes are injected in the body, they produced antibodies, and that antibodies remains in the patient's body, and they protect them in the future from the attack of any other microorganism. Now these bacteria and yeast are used in making vitamin B complex tablets. So whatever vitamin B, B1, B2, B6, B4, B5, these are also prepared from bacteria and yeast. The human hormones called insulin can also be obtained from bacteria. Insulin obtained from bacteria is used to help diabetes patients whose body produce little or no insulin. Now making medicines and vaccines, these bacteria and fungi are used. Now in agriculture, how these microorganisms are useful in agriculture. So some bacteria, we have read that some bacteria lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants, and they absorb the nitrogen of the atmosphere and convert it into nitrates and nitrites, and serves as a natural fertilizers for plant. Now some blue-green algae can also fix atmospheric nitrogen, like nitrification and nitrification process. So protein from dead matter is first converted into ammonia by an ammonifying bacteria. Then this ammonia is converted into atmospheric nitrates useful to plants and animals by nitrification, by nitrifying bacteria, that is Nitrosomonas, that is a nitrifying bacteria. Now apart from rhizobium, other bacteria like azobacteria and clostridium, these are also nitrogen fixing bacteria apart from rhizobium. Now how they clean these microorganisms, how they clean the environment. So microorganisms like bacteria, fungi and protozoa helps by decomposing the tissue of dead organism to get their food. Without bacteria, piles of dead organism would cover the earth. Like if the wastes are not decomposed, what will happen? There the earth is full of waste, full of dead organisms, full of wastes. When microorganisms decompose organic matter, they break down plants and animals' tissue into simple substance, which are again restored to the soil, means they are given back to the soil. Thus the nutrients that were taken from the soil by plants and animals are restored and are used again by living organism. Now some bacteria decomposes sewage and other waste in water. Sewage treatment, in the class 7 we have read how the bacteria helps in the sewage treatment plant. And this is a natural method of keeping the environment free from pollution. Since algae can synthesize, they give off oxygen, and it is thought that most of the oxygen that we have on the earth was initially produced by algae in the oceans. Now some other uses of microorganism. Certain bacteria and protozoa that normally lives in the digestive system of some animals such as cow, goat, all the herbivorous animals like cow, goat and sheep, they help the animal to digest grass and plants by breaking down cellulose which the animal themselves can't do. Now there is a difference between the digestive system of ours or the humans and the herbivores. We can't digest cellulose, but the herbivores, They have a special bacteria present in their stomach that helps to digest cellulose that is present in the grass-eating grass. Bacteria are used in tobacco, leather and jute industries. Tanning process to make animal skin into leather by treating it with chemicals, that is called tanning, is done with the help of bacteria. In the jute industries, retting process means jute plants are submerged in water where bacteria action separate the fibers from rest of the tissues. That process is called retting process. The fibers are then woven into jute clothes. In the villages, animals waste, leafy waste from crops, these are decomposed by bacteria in the absence of oxygen to produce methane, which is used as a fuel, and it is one of the chief constituent of the biogas. So this is all about for today. In the next class we will see harmful microorganisms. Today we have seen the beneficial microorganisms. In the next class we will see harmful microorganisms, and then how we can preserve food. Till then, stay safe, stay at home, have a good day.